Sometimes it's just like, I'm just done with everything. When you feel like giving up, learn to rest, not to quit. I learned the truth of that statement today when I was having moments of self doubt. I was having feelings of being done. I also was not allowing space for me to be human. And the more I pushed myself or shamed myself into like, why is this so hard for you? Other people could do this. Why can't you? Like those kind of thoughts go in my head. The more frustrated I got, and the more I felt like, well, then I just can't do this. I'm realizing instead of beating myself when feelings of self doubt, lack of confidence, weariness, that word, I read so much in the Bible and I was like, okay, it means time, but I get it now. Weary. You're just like, can't keep going. Like, I want to give up. But you don't really want to give up. It's just this emotional tiredness, this emotional fatigue that just like, you don't have the energy you need to keep going. What I learned today is the importance of filling your cup. That when I come to a task or a responsibility or a goal that I want to accomplish, if I'm coming with half empty or worse yet, an empty cup, there's no way that I'm not going to burn out. So I am learning to look for signs before that happens. If I'm feeling weary, that means I have not been filling up. That means I'm empty. That means I need to pour back in. And it's okay to take a step back from something that I plan to do because I do not have what I need to complete the task. So, for those of you who don't know, I homeschool my 7-year-old son who is on the spectrum. He has special needs. Since the time when we were not going out, I found that he did really good at home with his schooling and it fit both of our needs. So I decided to take on homeschooling full time. And it has been an amazing journey thus far. We know, right, that change is constant. And what's so interesting to me is how humbled I am each time I see the reality of that statement, that change is constantly happening in a good way or a challenging way. I realized sometimes I'm looking to make it really bad and that's why I feel the way I do, instead of reflecting like, well, maybe you don't have all that you need right now in order to be able to do this the way that you would like. And I'm dealing with my own chronic health issues that make showing up the way I would like difficult. With the tasks that I have at hand, I need a full cup. I really do. I cannot skimp. And I've been skimping, and the weariness and the burnout feeling was letting me know that I am not doing my part. So I took a moment. I came upstairs. I locked the door to my room. I allowed myself time for myself where I wasn't being inundated with questions and mommy, and, demands and thinking about like outside stuff. I put on some music. I sat in this very chair right here and I cried. I realized that it's very easy for emotions that we're experiencing, anger, frustration, all those different things, to be stuck in us. And I'm a thinker and I also like to talk, but I am noticing when I'm feeling like my emotional battery is like dead, I don't want to talk. I don't feel like writing. I don't feel like doing the things I normally would want to do. And so I put on the music, which was soothing. It wasn't child music. With music, I find that it was able to help me express how I was feeling without me saying a word or having to do anything but just sit there. So I sat in this chair, I listened to some music, and I cried. And I started to do something that maybe might have felt weird, but because I was by myself, I'm like, go with it. I have looked at some things before online about the importance of somatic therapy, meaning pushing through your emotions through body work, through movement. So that could be dancing, that could be a lot of different things. And so while I was crying, I was just, whatever my body was trying to tell me to do, or like that I felt comfortable, I started to do that. And it was really powerful. Like I was like, I'm not saying anything, I'm not doing anything, but just letting the music, which was soothing, just like help me to express the frustration that I felt and the just weariness that I felt. And I started to feel relief. And then once I got through the crying moments, but I gave myself some time to be still, be quiet, allow myself to not be overstimulated. It was just what I needed. After I got all the crying and the tears out, then I put on some jumping music, and then I just started dancing around my room. And it was about 5 or so, so it was getting a little bit dark. I closed the curtains. If you're one of those that feel self-conscious even when you're by yourself, like just, you know, when they say dance like no one's watching, like literally just jam. And that is also another way of just, you know, exercise is a good stress reliever. So is dancing. So I was just moving and just, I had a good little session. I even got some exercise in, so it was like a bonus. And I realized how important it is for me to incorporate that, not wait till the battery is dead or my cup is empty, but to incorporate that preventatively. I don't want to stop homeschooling my son, but I underestimated how much it takes out of me and how much I was not putting back in. And other signs that was letting me know that I needed to pour back in was I was losing my patience. My patience was just like any little thing. I was like, come on. I was praying. My son was even laughing at me because he was just like, okay, she's having a moment. We take walks together, which I love and enjoy, but I realized too that I need to have my own walk where he's not trying to run into the street or it's a lot. It's a lot. I love him to death. He is an amazing blessing and he gives me motivation to do better for myself, to make myself better. And this is an example of it. Because of what I want to do for him, I'm realizing what I need to do for myself. In order to give as generously as we want to give to others, we cannot do that from an empty place. We all know the very famous analogy of the oxygen masks, and that's a very real thing when you're on a plane. But like, how much more in life are we operating on on empty, and trying to give to others? And you will see the results. You will see that lack of patience. You will see that resentment, and just does not feel good, that weariness. And so, am I still tired? Yes. Can it still be challenging? But I'm able to meet those challenges in a very different way. Another thing I was reminded of is the importance of allowing space for being human. I think of myself as someone who loves to encourage self-compassion and to be empathetic and all those things. But there are times when I am not any of those things. And especially if I'm not giving to myself or I'm not, pouring into myself, I'm not going to be able to tap into all those good things or gifts that I have about myself to give to the ones that I love. I had to be careful to not think I'm a horrible mom, I'm a horrible, judge and shame myself because I had those moments. Also learning to apologize. Mommy needed a minute, sweetie. Today was, they have their days. And this is where motherhood truly is a on-the-job training in self-love. I remember my therapist reminding me that I have the tools inside of me to be loving and compassionate because I give that to him. And it makes me feel proud when I'm able to do that. But then I don't do that for myself. And so I have to learn to allow space for, today was one of those days and that's okay. And really be intentional about finding things to pour back into me that can help me be the best that I can be for my little guy and my family. That was just something that was very eye-opening today. It's not something that I didn't know, but I think the moment that I took the time where I just closed the door and I was just like, I just let the tears flow. I know this is a very interesting analogy, but like if you have the runs or you have a cold or different things like that, you just gotta let it pass. It needs to pass. It needs to pass. So I feel so much better emotionally. I'm still going to continue to do things to pour back into me, but that was the proof in the pudding to me. When I poured into myself, how differently I interacted with my family than before when I was on E. One of the beautiful things that I love about homeschooling is the flexibility to our circumstances. And so it's not just Monday through Friday for us. We could do it Monday through Sunday. And the reason why I have done that is to allow space for flare-ups, different things that are going on. I really, really appreciate teachers and how much you have to do with more than one child. It's a lot. But it's also very rewarding. I'm able to see milestones and be a part of them and learn things also along the way with him. So I'm definitely here for it. But I just wanted to put that out there. When you have something that you're going through in your life that you feel weary about and you feel like you're done and you can't go anymore, ask yourself, what level am I at my cup? And what was nice about it is it didn't cost any money. I didn't have to get a babysitter or anything like that. You know, my son, of course, is at an age that I can do that. Believe me, there were times when he was younger that was a lot more difficult. I am definitely in a season where I can be more intentional about doing that. I just take it for granted. Like right now, he's asleep and I'm able to do this. When we have these emotions that we have that can be so strong, don't let it take you down that path. Because the moment that I started to pour into myself, I felt completely different. And I think to myself, if I would have made a decision when I was feeling the way that I was feeling, I would have regretted it afterwards. So anything in this life that we want to achieve, a goal, is going to have some work and it's going to be really hard, before it gets better. And then right when it gets better and you think you got the hang of it, then there's going to be another challenge to come. But it does teach us things. And how ironic that sometimes when we're going through a certain lesson and my son knows that it's hard, he's like, oh boy, this is going to be hard. Or I don't want to do this because I know I might get the answer wrong. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's what learning is. Learning is about making mistakes. It is about not always getting it right so that we know for the next time. And so I myself have to be open to, well, I made a mistake. I didn't pour into myself. I let myself run low, run empty. And I will know for next time what will be more effective, what will be more helpful. And we can't be afraid of making mistakes and learning. We have to allow space for being human. I'm also dealing with these health issues and trying to figure out what to eat and trying to stay active so that I can keep a hold of my weight and things like that. Like sometimes it's just like, I'm just done with everything. And sometimes just saying that out loud, like, can be helpful, So I hope this video, if anything, helps you to know that you're not alone and that how you're feeling could be a sign letting you know that there's something you need to pay attention to. That is the compassionate way that I like to handle things, because change will always be here. It's no day is the same. And I've also heard from other homeschool families, every year is not going to look the same. Even when my son was going to school, I remember when he first went and the class that he had, how, certain kids gravitated toward him, and then maybe the next year it turned out to be something different because it was a different group of kids. So nothing stays the same. And so you have to be ready and flexible. That can help you to keep your peace of mind. It could help us all to keep going. If no one has told you yet today, I'm proud of you for doing the best that you can with what you have, and you got this. If you feel like giving up, learn to rest, not to quit. Thanks so much for listening or watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye.